Hey folks, Mr. Hartzler here, and I wanted to talk to you about Law of Cosines. So on this paper right down here, you'll see all of the equations that are associated with the Law of Cosines, and a generic triangle. Even though it looks like it might be a right triangle, it is not, or we at least assume it is not. That's where we get all of our labeling for these equations. So looking at this one, we'll just look at the bottom one here. A squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine a. So in this case, we have a squared on the left, and then we're looking at the angle of a for cosine. Jump up one, we now have b squared on the left side and cosine of our angle b. That's kind of the pattern here with all of these. Same thing up here, c squared, angle of c. You'll also notice we have a squared plus b squared. On that same side, we're going to have negative 2 times a, b. A and c, b and c, b and c. So those are our formulas that we're going to be using throughout the video. First thing we're going to do is we're going to solve a triangle. This is our triangle we're given. That was just a little boo-boo I made earlier. And we have 3 steps. Step 1, we're going to use law of cosines. Step 2, we're going to use law of sines. And step 3, we're going to find the missing angle. You might want to draw this picture down, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You might want to just write that on your paper. I'll give you a second. Pause the video or something now so you can write that down. So we're going to start off with law of cosines. That's our step 1. And we're going to use this formula, b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cosine of angle b. We're doing that because that's all the information that we were given. And now we're going to plug in all the stuff we have. We have a, c, and our angle b. So I don't know my side length b, but I know that a is 7. I know that c is 5 minus 2 times then our 7 and our 5 times cosine of our angle, which is 36 degrees in this case. Now I simplify a little bit of this. Everything over here is all just a number. So I'm just going to type all that into the calculator, and I get 17.3688. Now this is b squared, and I just want regular b, so I'm going to square root everything, and b equals 4.168. That's as easy as that first step is. So again, I'm plugging everything in and then solving for the thing I don't know. If I can help it, I want this b squared, or the thing all the way off to my left, I want that to be a thing I'm solving for. Alright, now let's creep into law of sines. Sine A over A, sine B over B, and sine C over C. This time, I'm going to use the information I'm given again, and the one piece that I do know. So I'm going to plug in all of the pieces I know. I don't know angle A, but I know side length A. I know angle B is 36, and I know side length B. I just found that one out using law of cosines. And I don't know angle C, but I know the side length associated is 5. Now we're going to solve for angle A, and this is my completed ratio, so I'm going to use these two to solve for angle A. Now I want to get A by itself, so I'm going to multiply everything by 7. Once I've done that, everything on my right side is going to end up being a number once I punch that into my calculator. And when I punch that in, making sure your calculator is in degrees, end up with 0.987. Now we have to get rid of sine, and because sine is a function, not like some kind of number or a variable, I can't just divide by sine. I actually have to do the inverse sine, also called arc sine, on both sides. So I now have our regular A, and then I have arc sine or inverse sine of 0.987. This I can plug into my calculator. I probably have to hit the second button and then sine, and you'll figure out that A is 80.751 degrees. Now I've done almost everything. I only have one little step left to do, and that one little step is to find my missing angle. There's only one piece of information I don't have right now, and it is angle C. To do that one, I'm going to do the easiest method possible. I know that all my angles are going to add up to be 180. I don't know angle C, but I know that one of my angles is 80.751, and the other one is 36. I subtract all of that over, and I end up with 63.249 degrees equals angle C. Then I would go in and make sure I labeled everything on my triangle, and we would be all good to go. That is using law of cosines, then sine, to solve my triangle. Now, I'm going to go in and solve a triangle where I'm given 3 of the sides. So in this case, I don't have any angles given. Step 1 is cosines to find angle A. Then I'm going to use the law of sines to find angle B. Then I'm going to go through and find angle C. I'm going to plug in all of the things I know. In this case, I know all of my side lengths. I have a 16, a 9, a 10. Plug all of that in, cosine A. All of this stuff are numbers. I'm going to do what I can to get rid of those. Those two together end up being a negative 181. I'm going to subtract 181 from 16 squared, which is 256. So I end up with 75 equals negative 180 cosine of angle A. So all of that there gets me my 180. Now I need to divide by negative 180. Since I have a positive divided by a negative, I now have negative 0.416 equals cosine of A. We talked earlier that we couldn't just divide by sine like we normally would, so we have to use cosine inverse or arc cosine in this case as well. When I do that, I have inverse of cosine, negative 0.416. Type that into the handy dandy calculator, and you get angle A equaling 114.582 degrees. That's an important piece to my triangle, and that is only step 1. Let's do step 2. Step 2 is going to be using the law of sines to find angle B. So I plug in all of the stuff I know. I don't know angle B, but I know side length B. I now know angle A is 114. That was from the last step. And I know side length A. That's why we're using sine of A over A, because that's a completed ratio for us now. Once I have a completed ratio, I want to use that to find one of my missing pieces. This time, I'm going to, again, multiply by 9. This is going to cancel my left side. So I now have sine B equals
sine 114, or 16 times 9.
That's all just a number. And if I punch that into the calculator, I get that it is 0.5115. Now we have to get rid of sine again, because I need to find an angle measurement.
So it's inverse sine. Angle B is inverse sine of 0.5115.
So angle B is 30.764 degrees. The only thing I need to do is solve for my last angle. And again, I want to do this the easiest way possible. And that is to know that all angles are going to add up to 180. And I know 2 of those 3 angles. I know that one of them is 114.582. The other one is 30.764, and then I do not know angle C. I subtract both of those from both sides. 34.654 degrees equals angle C. Now that I have done that, I know all of my pieces, and I have solved this triangle. So that is going through law of cosines, when we would use it. We would use it when we only know our side lengths and when we don't have a completed ratio for law of sines. And I hope that answers any questions you might have. If you do have any more questions or just want me to show you something else in a different video, please leave a comment below. Of course, like this video if you enjoyed it or got something from it, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more like this. Have a great day, everybody, and make sure you're always doing math carefully and with enthusiasm.